What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I know I took a little break from making videos, but I'm back. I'm going to start releasing videos consistently again. And before we get started on today's video, I just want to thank you guys for helping me to hit 100 subscribers. So I appreciate each and every single one of you. It means so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already and you enjoy my content, go ahead and subscribe. If you don't know if you enjoy my content, go ahead and ride this video out, see if you like it. If you do, go ahead and subscribe for more content like this. So, today's video is about how to stop letting your life pass you by. Fundamentally, if you're somebody who feels as though life is just passing you by, you're kind of just going through the motions, nothing is too exciting inherently about your existence. If you feel this way, it's because fundamentally you're not fully engaged with your life. Like at a deep level in your core, you're not connected to the life that you're living. You're not engaged with it. Now, what does this mean to be fully engaged with life? Well, if you're fully engaged with life, you're somebody who's going to not be taking life for granted. So you're probably going to have this attitude, and if you don't, this is what you're going to develop through watching this video and then integrating it. But to stop letting your life just pass you by, you need to develop this attitude where you recognize how much of a gift this life is. You recognize how much of a miracle it is. Now, don't just take my word for that. If you don't feel that, then it's not going to actually sustain this mentality. What you need to do to actually feel that is to be engaged with this moment, this one, right now. And then practice being engaged with this moment right now. And a great way to do that is, you guessed it, a meditation practice. You can go check out my video on meditation for beginners and the benefits of meditation. But if you're fully present, if you practice your awareness and cultivate a deeper awareness, you're going to recognize undeniably that this life is so miraculous and so precious. And you're going to see it for the gift that it is. And you're not going to be taking it for granted. Now, even if you've developed this attitude, there's still going to be moments where you kind of fall asleep again, so to speak. And you're going to be taking life for granted. And that's okay. It's just about diminishing the percentage of your day where that's the case. So when you're taking life for granted, it's because you're not fully engaged with life. To be fully engaged with it, you need to be aware of how much of a miracle this really is. And if that's the case, if you are aware of that, you're going to honor life instead of taking it for granted. And the way that you are going to honor this life is to live it passionately, authentically, wholeheartedly. You're not just going to want to go through the motions and live some average, mediocre life. The average life of a human being on this planet right now, it really is quite mediocre. Now, the vibration is raising, so to speak, as it does as time goes on, because as one flower blossoms, the seeds disperse and other flowers start to blossom. The growth is exponential, so to speak. Now, you can be one of these flowers that blossom. If you are fully engaged with life, you are going to be a joyous being, and that is contagious. People are going to recognize that in you, and they're going to start to be curious. They're going to start to self-reflect a little bit about their own life. Anyway, back on topic. To live a fully engaged life, as I said, you need to be fully authentic with yourself. So you need to know what it is that you are passionate about. What it is that lights a fire in your belly. And then there's so much in the way of you doing that, in your mind anyways. There's so much stopping you. But there actually isn't. Those are just beliefs that you have. There's no obstacles that you can't navigate, that you can't either get through or get around. Now, being fully engaged with life is the road less traveled. There's not many human beings that are fully engaged with their lives, and the ones that are happy with their existence. They're fulfilled, they're joyous. Now, this sounds pretty great. We probably want to strive to become like this as well. Who wouldn't want to enjoy their existence? But what holds us back so often is those perceived things that stop us from living our passionate life. The default result of coming up in society is that you're going to live quite a mediocre life that, is maybe you have all your needs met in terms of your survival. You have a roof over your head, you have food in your fridge. And that's a lot to be grateful for in itself. But you can be that way and still not be satisfied with your life because you're just surviving at that point. You're just going through the motions. And that's the default result that society conditions us into. That's most of the people that you see around you in the world. So if you feel as though that's you, don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault, so to speak. But the fact that you're watching this video means you recognize that and means you want to make a difference. So now that you have that awareness, don't settle for anything less. All of those perceived obstacles, and a lot of them very well are obstacles. They're something that's a barrier or something in the way of getting to where you want to go. You can go around it. You can go through it. The how isn't very important if you know the why. So don't let yourself take no for an answer. Not even just from others, but from yourself. Because we have this split in us. We have the part of us that wants to go ahead and do the thing that we love the most. And then we have the part of us that's scared. Don't take no for an answer from the part of you that's scared. That fear is there because it was conditioned to be there. It's actually quite natural that it's there given your upbringing, given your surroundings, given what you've heard from your teachers, from your parents, from your colleagues, from your peers. It's bound to be there. But it's not true. There's nothing inherently true about it. If 100 out of 100 people say that the earth is round, that the earth is flat, just because everybody says it's flat, and maybe they all agree, there's not one objection, that doesn't mean that's the truth. In their minds it is. And right now, in your mind, it is the truth or it could very well be the truth that you can't live the life that you want, but you can. Now, this isn't going to happen overnight. This takes dedication. And this is where being engaged comes from. You're actually going to enjoy the process. That's the best part. It's not going to be grueling and miserable. Now sometimes, you might have to grind it out a little bit, but that's not going to be the underlying energy behind the process. It's going to be a joyous process. You are going to be dedicated and hardworking, and you're going to reap the rewards of that, and you're going to enjoy it. Chances are you already are at least a little bit hardworking and a little bit dedicated, but to something that doesn't necessarily require as much effort and dedication. So what I mean by that is maybe you wanted to be an entrepreneur for some passion that you really have, but instead you went with the motions of becoming an accountant because you were pretty good at math. Everybody told you that's what you should do. And you're still working. You still worked to get through school. You still work at your accounting firm. You're still dedicated to waking up to get to work in the morning and doing your work. But if you don't like it, that's where it feels like it's grueling, like it feels like it's a grind. If you're enjoying it, and if chances are, if you're doing something that you're more joyous about, more passionate about, you might have to build from the ground up. There's not already a beaten path, so to speak. So it's going to require some more hard work, some more dedication than the path that you're on now or the previous path that you were on. But if you're passionate about it, you're going to enjoy the process. You're going to be fully engaged with your life. And this is how you stop letting life pass you by being fully engaged with it. Now, this doesn't just go for like following your passions in a workforce. No, that's just one part of it. And that is a very big part of it, which is why I just spoke about that extensively. But there's so many other things that hold you back from being fully engaged with your life. So, to be fully engaged with your life is to be fully present with it. Now, I think I may have already mentioned, but a meditation practice is going to help you to be fully present more often than not. And as you keep meditating, you're going to, that more often than not, you are going to grow it. So the period of time where you are present is going to grow, and the period of time where you're not very present and you're kind of just sleepwalking and going through the motions is going to diminish until you're optimally present. And when you're optimally present, you are going to see the beauty all around you in any given situation, even the ones that right now might appear to be full of suffering. So even when you're just walking down the street, you're taking your dog for a walk, you're going to be more satisfied. You're going to be more engaged with what's around you. You're not going to be stuck in la la land. It's actually, there's a chapter in the novel, or the book rather, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, where he talked about how he saw this lady on the subway that was talking out loud, and she was talking to herself. She was having an argument from both sides. And he thought, wow, that lady's crazy. And then he was surprised to see that she got off at the same stop as him. And she was in front of him, and he was just walking his path to where he had to go. He was going to his university at the time. And he was surprised to see that she walked the exact same path. And he was thinking, there's no way that she belongs to, the institution, like the university that I'm a part of. There's no way somebody this crazy. Sure enough, she walked into the front doors of the exact same building that he was going into. And this puzzled him a little bit. He pondered this a little bit, and he had a bit of an epiphany that she was talking to herself out loud. And he thought, okay, that means she's like mentally insane. And then he realized, I'm always talking to myself. All the time. We're constantly stuck in our heads. It's just the difference was that his dialogue wasn't allowed. It wasn't out loud for everybody to hear. It's just internal. And it's the same with you. It's the same with the vast majority of society. It's the same with me. But as we cultivate presence, as we cultivate the depths of our awareness, and we can do this through our meditation practice, that pipes down a little bit. We stop getting lost in the stories and the fantasies that we run in our minds constantly, and we start to see what's really there. We start to acknowledge what's actually around us. Now, don't just take this point for granted, because you might think, oh yeah, I see what's around me, yeah, I'm like, I talk to myself, but I'm not lost in my head all day. if you've ever tried to meditate before, if you don't have a meditation practice, then you probably know that you are way more in your own mind than you might have thought you were. And if you don't already have a meditation practice, I invite you to just sit for 60 seconds and stay conscious of a singular thought. I'm not even going to ask you to not have thoughts and just focus on your breath. Just try to stay conscious of a singular thought. I am Evan, or whatever your name is, for 60 seconds. And tell me if you don't get, no, you can't tell me, but you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost in some other thought. You're going to forget that you were doing this activity of I am blank. So much of that mental activity that's going on in our minds all day, that is what is keeping us from being fully engaged with life. So that's it for today's video. The main take-home point here is that you feel like your life is passing you by because you are not fully engaged with it. And you're not fully engaged with it, chances are because you're not doing what you are passionate about every single day, and because you have so many little habits that take away from your capacity to be mindful, instead of developing habits that enhance your capacity to be mindful. The more mindful, the more aware you can be, the more engaged you will be. And the more engaged you are, the greater satisfaction you will have for your life. The greater your quality of life overall will be. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a good one.